In 2021, Kyle Larson went on a tear. With Hendrick Motorsports in his first season, he won 10 races, won a championship, and had one of the best seasons in recent NASCAR history. In that year, he also had two instances where he won 3 races in a row. The first of which, starting at the Coke 600 and going through Sonoma and Nashville. But it would have been 4 in a row had he not had a last turn, last lap flat tire at Pocono, which sent him from the lead to the wall. He would have been the first driver to win 4 races in a row in the Cup Series since 2007. And to this day, nobody has done either 3 or 4 in a row since 2021. Yet, had he also been able to close out the COTA race, he would be the first driver in NASCAR's modern era to win 5 points-paying races in a row, meaning from 1972 to now, nobody has accomplished that feat. Is 5 in a row the ultimate feat that you're never going to see overcome? How close have others come? I think these are real questions that people should have. And there are 8 drivers at different times who have come oh so close to doing so. And today we're going to look at all of them. The first of these in the modern era came from Cale Yarborough. He was on his way to his first of 3 straight championships in this season. And he went on a shorter track tear, winning first at Richmond, then Dover, Martinsville, and the 4th one being at North Wilkesboro. While leading a good portion of the 500-miler at Charlotte the next race, he had nothing at the end for a bad fast Donnie Allison, who ended up beating him by over 12 seconds. Though, again, Yarborough would be able to close out the championship, so in the end, he ended up winning still. 5 years later, it'd be Darrell Waltrip trying to accomplish this feat. Another that was in a championship battle, tightly contested by Bobby Allison. He had to be on his A game to pull away. He went on kind of a Virginia-Carolina run, winning Martinsville, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, and Rockingham. And at North Wilkesboro in particular, it was his best win, leading 318 laps, which led to the penultimate race of the season at Atlanta. Up 83 points over Bobby Allison at this point. Speed and smarts were the name of the game, but he also had to perform really well towards the front. And this race would come down to the wire, and in Darrell's words, be another one of those fantastic Atlanta finishes. In the closing laps, DW was closing in on Neil Bonnet's number 21, with Cale Yarborough stalking both of them in a 3-car battle. With 2 laps left, Darrell would get under Bonnet in turn 2 and get by him in turn 3 heading to the white flag, leading the lap. But Bonnet would retake the lead in turn 1 with a crossover move that left DW in the dust battling Cale for second. 2 weeks later at Riverside, Waltrip would beat Bobby Allison for the title by only 63 points. 6 years later in 1987, Dale Earnhardt would add his name to the guys that would win 4 straight races. And it was a legendary season when it came to Earnhardt in 87. Pure domination and some of the best percentages in wins, top 5s, top 10s, and laps led in particular that just made this season stick out in so many ways. Later in the season, he would win his 3 races in a row at Bristol, Darlington, and Richmond, but his championship season was set up by a strong spring. And his 3rd title run would really start up with wins at Darlington, Wilkesboro, Bristol, and Martinsville. And the chance for 5 straight wins would come down to none other than Talladega, a track that Earnhardt would basically own in the coming decade. But Davey Allison would be the one to best Earnhardt, spoiling the Intimidator's party, passing him for the lead with 10 laps left, and holding both the 3 and the field off from there. 1991 would start the only time there'd be consecutive seasons with drivers winning 4 straight races, in 91, 92, and 93. Harry Gant would be the first of these in 1991, and he might have had the most famous 4-race win streak in a row, earning them the name Mr. September in doing so. He started with a win in the Southern 500, then went off to Richmond, got another one there, then at Dover, one there, and closed out the 4 straight at Martinsville. All roads for a September sweep led to the North Wilkesboro Speedway on September 29, 1991. Gant was the fan favorite to get this done, and in getting the pole, he only hyped up the Wilkesboro crowd even more. He'd dominate for the majority of the day and was well on his way to victory, before at the end, his unstoppable 33 car was suddenly stoppable. And it was slipping because of a fluid leak in the closing laps, and while leading with 9 laps to go, he'd end up losing that ground and the lead to Earnhardt, finishing 1.5 seconds away from 5 straight wins in a month, finishing second in the greatest month ever performed in NASCAR history. 92 would see the most popular driver go at it. After Davey Allison won the Daytona 500, Bill Elliott would have to return to his winning ways in week 2 after a 27th place finish in the Great American Race. And from races 2 to 5, it was near perfection. Rockingham, Richmond, Atlanta, and Darlington all saw awesome Bill from Dawsonville grab the win. And it led to Bristol, where it seemed like he might have another shot all over again to do the winning ways of a 5th straight win now, which hadn't been seen since 1971 pre-modern era. Unfortunately, though, he'd be collected in a 4-car wreck that would leave him on lap 16 of 500, finishing 13 laps down in 20th out of the 32-car field, while eventual champion Alan Kulwicki would end up winning the race. And then in 1993, Mark Martin would add his name to the list of legends. While not keeping up at season's end with Earnhardt and Wallace for the championship, his 4 straight wins were maybe some of the most impressive when you look at how different all the tracks were. A road course in Watkins Glen, a 2-mile oval in Michigan, Bristol on one of the shortest tracks on the circuit, and he closed it out with a win in the Southern 500. It being in the nighttime, which at that point was an Ironman race. All roads would lead to Richmond, and Martin would lead 155 of the opening 266 laps, but one of the 2 classes of the field that year in Rusty Wallace would just get quicker as the night went on and end up getting past the 6 car, while Martin would fall all the way back to a 6th place finish. Fast forward to 1998, where Jeff Gordon would etch his name into history with this. 1998, when it came to Jeff Gordon, might be the best season performance in NASCAR history ever. When you look at the competition, the era, and just how well he did, it is insane to look at. Gordon won 4 in a row with Pocono, the Brickyard, Watkins Glen, and Michigan. 4 very different tracks in very different ways, none of them in any way the same shape. And in this time, his championship rival, Mark Martin, finished second, and 4th behind him, losing 45 points in a 4-race span with an average finish of 2.5. That's just how damn good Jeff was in that time. So it should come as no surprise that Martin would be the one to break the Rainbow Road. The majority of the night, Fords ran up front, with Martin and Mayfield leading the way at Bristol. But it would be Martin winning this race with all things said and done. Gordon would end up winning his 3rd title, pulling away by nearly 400 points over the 6 and leaving everybody in the dust in 98. And the latest driver that's won 4 consecutive races, of course, is Jimmy Johnson. Listen, if you weren't around at the time, Jimmy Johnson from 2006 to 2010, he was just a different breed of driver. He was insane, and that 48 team was firing on all cylinders. In the second year of his 5 consecutive titles, he'd be locked in a heavyweight battle against teammate and one of the greatest ever, Jeff Gordon. At the halfway mark of the 2007 chase, Gordon had won at Charlotte, and the 48 would be behind the 24 by 68 points. But Martinsville, Atlanta, Texas, and Phoenix were 4 of the best tracks for the 48 team as well. And in doing this, with 2 different types of cars, the COT at Martinsville and Phoenix, the Gen 4 at Atlanta and Texas, Jimmy Johnson would win those 4 straight, including an all-time great battle between himself and rival Matt Kenseth. By the time they entered the finale race, Johnson led Gordon by 86 markers. All he needed to do was race smart in Miami and finish 18th or better. So Johnson would play it safe. He'd run top 10 and top 5 all night, and he probably could have had a better run, but he probably would not have beat Matt Kenseth, who was in a league of his own that night, leading 214 of the 267 laps. But for the 5th straight week, Jimmy Johnson still was in victory lane. And to this day, nobody has won 4 straight races since Johnson in 2007. It's been nearly 20 years, and none of the drivers in the Cup Series have done that. They've come close, but haven't done it. And no one has won 5 straight races since before the 1972 modern era realignment of NASCAR. And with the next-gen car being as close as it is today, and NASCAR working as hard as possible to keep the field even, it's hard to think that this 53-year barrier of 5 straight wins and great performance will be broken anytime soon. Richard Petty being the last to do it in 1971. Plus, racing is so unpredictable that anything can happen. And anything will happen that can kill chances. The weather can stop you, a flat tire can stop you, anything can. So, I'll ask you this question, and we might see it this season, we might see it 20 years from now, but if it is to ever happen, somebody winning 5 straight races, who do you think does it? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.